Hi, I'm your host, Jim Gardiner, and this is the Inspirational 30. We are here for episode 13 of season 1. Hard to believe, but we have a little special treat for you today. We've taken some highlights of our past guests over season 1 and put them into some little snippets for you. In addition, I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of questions on where did I come up with the idea for the Inspirational 30 and kind of, what am I all about? So we got a little treat here where we sat down and I kind of told my story in a nutshell, and I put it together for you here to watch, and so enjoy. Hi, my name is Jim Gardiner. I am a father, husband, athlete, TV host, motivational speaker, coach, and just an ordinary guy on a mission to become the best version of himself possible. I grew up in Rhode Island. I'm from New England, from the States. And I grew up in the 70s, style neighborhood. It was just an amazing neighborhood, kids everywhere. I was very fortunate to have that interaction, a lot of play time. As I grew up, I always wanted to do one of two things as a kid. I either wanted to be an athlete or I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be on TV. My dad was fairly athletic. He was a really good hoop player, a high jumper. Not at an elite level by any stretch. My mom, not so much. But I was asthmatic as a kid, so and I still am. And I think one of the things when I started my journey in life is I was a very frail boy. I was sick all the time. I had asthma. I was in the hospital. Despite that, I was the type of kid who always participated in school sports. I played basketball a lot of years, played Little League baseball, and I played volleyball. But I was the guy that would participate and stop because I couldn't catch my breath. I was pretty much your average player. I didn't let my asthma keep me from being active. However, my senior year, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went to the bathroom. I had to get up, and my mom heard me get up. You okay? You okay? Because I was coughing. And I passed out, like stopped breathing. Never happened before. So, when I came to, there were paramedics all around and everything, and I didn't know what was going on. I was fine. Anyway, my dad pried my mouth open with a spoon and gave me mouth to mouth, and at least till the paramedics came. So that was a defining moment because I was like, I can't let this asthma just, So the next day we had a tennis match and my mom was like, "You're not going to tennis?" I was like, "I'm playing tennis tomorrow." I ended up having the best tennis match of my career. I would use that term loosely in high school, right? But I played beyond my means. I was like diving all around. I was like determined to be, right? And I still lost, but it went to like 5 sets and extra, and it was just one of those moments that I said, okay, I gotta do something. As I graduated high school, I knew that I wanted to go to college and I knew that I wanted to play sports. When you go to college, if you don't play the sport in high school or whatever, you're not going to go in and all of a sudden play baseball. It's a very hard chance. So I did my research. The University of Rhode Island had a rowing team. And rowing is one of the few sports, and still to this day is one of the few sports where the majority of people that excel at it don't have to have any prior background to the sport. They can walk on, they become part of the team. Thing is my doctor, my asthma doctor, thought I was nuts, advised me against it because rowing is one of the most physically demanding sports in the world. Why would a guy that can't even run half a mile without stopping do that, right? But I just was, no, something about it. As I investigated it, there was something about that team dynamic that just was like, whoa, this is different, And so I made the decision to join the rowing team at the University of Rhode Island in my freshman year. And that started it. Rowing became my life. The first thing I remember the most, though, is the feeling of getting together with a bunch of people bound by this desire to be together. Simple as that. Because when you're in a boat, especially an 8-man shell, which is how the novice learn, an 8-man rowing boat, every guy in that boat depends on you. It's simple as that, you know, and so you learn how to really depend on each other, put aside differences, you know. You can't be late to practice, so the coach is going to make that boat go run hills instead of getting on the water because they're depending on you. You know, at stroke number 163 of the race, if I decide to flake out for a second, you know, I'm not only doing myself a disservice, but everyone else in the boat. You know, so there's that moment that drew me in. But the first magical moment is when, at some point in your rowing career, and some people find it right away, some people don't, is when you glide across the water effortlessly. And it's just, it's harmony, man. It's amazing. My sophomore year was my defining year. We came in second at the Nationals. Just an amazing group of guys. As it started to progress, then I got an invite to the U.S. development system for the national team. I did really well, and I made some choices. I went to the Olympic Festival in 1991 and won the gold medal. They didn't have lightweight rowing in the Olympics. And so I was at a point, do I really want to wait another 4 years? Do I want to put myself through that? I was a lightweight. I had to lose weight all the time. Mentally, I was ready for a different challenge, you know? So I walked away from the sport. I walked away for 15 years. So I was at a crossroads. I knew I could do anything. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I could do anything. So I took an acting class at a local community theater. And before I knew it, long story short, I was invited to New York. I had a manager that signed me, and within the scope of, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 7 months, I was living in New York City. Within a year of moving to New York, I was off Broadway for 9 months doing a one-man show. I had no business doing that. Like, I didn't, you know, people go and they go to the dramatic arts, they go to academies, they go to, you know, and I met somebody, we wrote a one-man show, and we got a director, and it got some good reviews, and all of a sudden we ran it for 9 months, which is, you know, for a guy to have that, his first thing on his resume is pretty neat. 12 years I spent in New York, and so New York's an amazing place. It's where I met my wife, and, you know, my wife and I met on Lexington Avenue, and that's, our daughter is named Lexington, and, you know, I mean, it's a huge thing for both of us, not just for me, for my wife as well. In 2005, the Hollywood sign was calling, and we decided to pack up our Jeep, drive across country, and continue my journey in the entertainment industry. And then finally made our way back up to Vancouver when we had our first daughter, and said, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to do the acting thing? You know, got to do something to make ends meet. And coaching kind of just presented itself. And I always said that eventually I knew at some point in my life I would get back into rowing. I didn't know how much, I just knew that the love for it would always be there. I started coaching, learned to row, and before I know it, I was coaching, before I know it, I was competing, and before I know it, I was training 15 hours a week and back at it. So it was amazing. Amazing to get back into that, and now I've been doing it steadily for 7 years now, and it's been amazing. While things were going great in Vancouver, you know, I just wasn't quite happy with my lack of stability. I was doing different jobs to kind of make ends meet for the family. And then in 2013, a big offer came our way to really give us some stability. And so we decided to move one more time here to Vancouver Island. I was kind of unhappy. I felt there's something more I need to be doing. I don't know what it is. You know, I just know that it's something to do with health and wellness. It's super important to me. We talk about the universe opening doors, and people talk about that cliche phrase, but it's true. You know, as soon as I started to commit to this path, things started to happen. I mean, how do you explain me moving to the island, getting a job in Qualicum, which then leads me to an amazing job in Courtenay, which leads me to sign a contract with Shaw to promote an organization and to do stuff for that community, and all of a sudden have Shaw people say, oh, this guy, he's natural on TV. And then all of a sudden an avenue for me to say, hey, I have this idea, how about a show? Before you know it, it's just like, wow, like this was a seed in the back of my mind, you know? I was thinking, how can I get my message out? How can I do what I really want to do? and let it grow and help people and you know, coach people and speak and do these things that I feel like I'm called to do.
And then the Inspirational 30 was born.
And every week, every person that comes on that show, I've grown a little bit better. For me, the selfish me, that's why I wanted to do it to begin with, because I wanted me to be the best version I can be. And by doing so, I want to help the audience. We all have a story to tell. You know, some of us has to just get inspired to get off the couch and tell it. I've come to terms, I am so grateful for everybody that has inspired me through my journey, that, you know, it's about giving back, and it's about service, and it's about saying, look, I want to inspire other people. Can ordinary inspire? We're all the same. We all have the ability. So if I can in turn inspire the community, if I can help someone on their fitness journey, if I can help someone on their life journey, you know, that's really what it's about. And that's what I'm thankful for. This is the place that people are willing to be at the forefront of change. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. Really, what amazes me the most is the fact that I'm sitting here, and I've had the privilege over the past 12 episodes to just meet some amazing people. And really the goal of the show is to learn from those individuals and then apply it to myself and hopefully you at home to make you a better person. So, you know, we learn from these guests, and my first guest I'm going to lead off with, very first guest in the show, John Pimlott, is a man that is on a mission, and really that mission is to provide accessibility for people that can't get out and enjoy the simple thing of getting on the water. John is a man driven by passion. He's a true character. I love this gentleman. And I wanted to cut to this clip where John wanted to close us out with a poem that is very deep and dear to his heart. And I think you'll get a better understanding of who John really is from this short clip.
So Invictus by William Ernst Henley. Out of night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul.
Just take a deep breath. Why don't you just go to the...
In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged with punishment the scrolls. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
How often do we get to sit down with a TEDx speaker? Well, I did just that on episode 3, I believe it was, with Isabelle Mercier. She is a woman that is just driven on a mission, and that mission is to help you at home and small businesses realize what their brand is. One thing I learned from her is we all have a brand. It's our obligation to develop that brand, to develop who we are. And I love this woman's spirit. I love her drive, her passion, her dedication to really assisting all of us in business and personally to being the best that we can be.
Only 6% of all small business owners will ever reach six figures, which is only $100,000 a year. Gross, might I add. I'm not talking net here and after taxes. And that is as a result of them being really, really good at what they do, but they compromise too much. They don't know what they believe in. They don't know what makes them different. And as a result of that, they don't have a true north. It's okay to derive. It's not okay to end up, completely. You have to have my elastic is short. It's tight. And That doesn't mean I'm not flexible. That doesn't mean, it means that I know right away when I'm off course and I need to snap back into course. But that's because I'm very strong about what I will tolerate, what I will not tolerate. I'm a hell yes type of person or no. It's either a hell yes or it's a no. I don't get into this gray zone forever, and and how do I know that it's hell yes? Because it aligns with who I am, what I do, what it allows me to do, and I have a funnel. Is it gonna allow me to create impact? Is it gonna allow me to have more fun in my life? And is it gonna allow me to create a profit for me and for others? That is my decision funnel. If it's hell yes at every part, I'm all in. If it's not, bye-bye.
In the episode Stand Strong, I got to sit down with Graham Giske, or Giske, as he's known to many. This young man is a true warrior of the soul, athlete, school teacher, tragically lost his leg in an accident while living in China. And as an amputee, he suffered a whole new direction in life thrown at him. But the one thing that I love about Graham is under all that and underneath his true role model stature to his students, to all of us, is his humor. At his heart is a man that has humor. Take a look at this clip. I'm sure you will smile when watching this. What's response with students? You teach younger students, correct?
It's all over. Right now I'm at high school, but last year I was younger students. And the responses are all over the place too.
Yeah, right.
So I like to get it out there right away. So
just break the ice?
Break the ice with it, tell my story.
Like just take it off and be like...
Sometimes I flip it up a little bit, like I can do little party tricks, and they think it's kind of wild. But the little kids, the response is it's almost a distraction almost. They ask a million questions, like, what happened to your old leg? And it's like, well, it's in the garbage or something, But yeah, they just want to touch it, they want to see it, and then the teenagers are kind of like, it takes them a while. They're kind of like, okay. And then once they get to know me a little bit more, some of them will kind of like, so what happened again? And they'll ask me a couple questions. So, which is, everyone kind of reacts a little different. Like, so if I'm wearing my shorts in the elevator, some people think it's just super neat and cool, and some people just, are kind of awkward about it. So, and that's been, and that sometimes still an adjustment for me, like the whole body image thing and everything, but.
It's no secret that in this day and age, we just live in a fear-based society. There's no escaping it. And when I sat down with Carla Pilton, we really talked about how emotion plays a huge role in kind of forming the landscape that we inhabit day to day within our bodies. The episode Deep Roots is a personal one for me. It's a story of how we really need to unblock what's buried deep inside of us, to really be vulnerable and to unlock our potential, to really just enjoy this amazing life. So I hope you'll enjoy this clip from Deep Roots.
I think our obligation is to really work on ourselves, be our best, and live our best life. And if we do that, then everything around us will change. So what is happening in our bodies is a reflection of what we're going to see outside of us. So if we're feeling good and centered and all love, and we're not living in the mind, and we're feeling peace inside, then that's actually what shows up in your life. So the more we work on ourselves, the more we can change.
And it's important to note that it's okay to be selfish.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we need to take care of ourselves first. And then by default, we will take care of those around us.
Absolutely.
Right? My next guest wants to promote a gateway to higher living through wellness. Andrea Dershan is the founder of Good Life Juice here on the island. A true entrepreneur, a true wellness advocate, a yogi. She encompasses, I think, every facet of what constitutes wellness. And I hope you'll enjoy a little candid sit down with her. She makes a great choice about vanity versus vitality with food. Check this out.
And I think that, you know, until you have really started to just like make food choices for vitality instead of for vanity, you'll always be looking for a quick fix, right?
Can you say that again? Because that was brilliant.
Oh, when you are making choices for vanity and not vitality, you'll always be looking for a quick fix.
That's right.
And there's a lot of quick fixes out there, and there's a lot of programs and things that people can do to get them, maybe if they're feeling overweight and they want to lose some weight, to get them to here, but are they feeling more vital and choosing these foods that nourish their bodies and make them feel amazing, or are they just choosing foods to make their body look a certain way? You know, and when that change happens, you enjoy preparing food for the joy of preparing it, because you know that you're doing a ritual to nourish your body and to be healthy and to live long. And, you know, that's a journey that some people get to and some people don't. I hope more and more people will, because when you can make that switch to what do I want to put in my body that's going to make me feel amazing? What am I going to put on my body that's going to make me feel amazing? You know, it's just a richer life to live, I think.
What's it like to sit down and have a conversation with Robin Williams, the late, great Robin Williams? What's it like to talk shop to Harrison Ford? What's it like to do the grouse grind with Hugh Jackman from Wolverine? Well, my next guest and a personal friend of mine, Rob Haley, does that for a living. Stuntman, actor, stand-in, joined me on the set of the Inspirational 30. Great stuff. If you love the business, I highly recommend this episode. And here's a little snippet of how he's really close with Patrick Stewart, that he just calls him at his home. Check this out.
Yeah, like the first time I met him was in 1999, and Tom Siegel, the director of photography, said, "You want to meet Patrick?" And then he looked at me and said, basically, well, pretty good, but he's like, "You have to shave your head every day. It's a lot of work." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." He says, "Good, you'll do. Thank you." It's like,
So
that was the first one in '99 in Toronto,
Yep.
and then the second one was Vancouver, and then the third one was 2005 was Vancouver, and then I did that. This picture was from the Days of Future Past in 2013 in Montreal, and then the X-Men Apocalypse was the last one.
That's right. Tell us about Days of Future Past with Sir Patrick. So give us a little nutshell real quick on what happened.
Well, I had a hard time securing the job to begin with. I called the production office when they were in pre-production, and I tried speaking to them, saying that I was Patrick's guy for the first 3 X-Men's, and if he knew that I could come to Montreal and be his double again, he would be just thrilled, because he said I was his best that he's ever worked with. And she basically, well, I don't want to mention names, but I was kind of like, kind of said, "Yeah, whatever, we got people in Montreal." And then I tried a second time, didn't work. So I called Patrick Stewart from the number I had from the third X-Men, and it was his home outside of London, England. And his answering machine came on, it was Patrick, and the answering machine left a message. A week later, it's Patrick, and he said, "How can I help you, Rob?" And it's like, "Well, Patrick, quite frankly, I'm having a hard time getting the job in Montreal for you on the next X-Men. Name, number, call you back in 5. 5 minutes later, it's taken care of, Rob. You're working." So it's like, it was that easy. Patrick made the call, and within 5 minutes, and I had the job as his double. He was only in it, for about a month of the film shoot, but it was still great to be there and work with him again.
That's huge.
It's still good, and I got family in Montreal, so I visited family and worked a bit as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, maybe I think they're doing another one, aren't they?
I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. That's it's who knows, what's going to happen in 2017. But I'd love to be able to do another one. I've done 5 of them. So
I know, 5 X-Men. That's great. Well, there's a little taste of season 1 on the Inspirational 30. A big thank you goes out to all my guests. Obviously, we couldn't cut to every episode, but the goal of this show for myself was to really just to learn from these amazing people that I got to sit down with and to create a community. And I'm humbled that this vision came to life. They joined me, we laughed, we had some deep conversations, and a few times, we actually got emotional over the content. And I think that's what makes this show special. is that it crosses over a lot of barriers, and I think it reaches people because, look, you know, we're all cut from the same cloth. We all put our pants on one leg at a time, and we all struggle with life, and we all want to be better. And hopefully you at home will be inspired by my guests and continue to spread this movement. You know, join us for season 2. We have an amazing lineup with some amazing stories and some different arenas and avenues that we haven't approached yet. So I'm really looking forward to that. But for you at home and you watching this online, thank you. And you know, this is my little offering to you at home because you owe it to yourselves to be better in life. Stay tuned and stay inspired. Cheers.